everybody, it's Dr. Drake 63 here today, and today I specifically want to address self-defense in public and carrying a firearm. The reason I want to talk about that, I spend a lot of time with various hobby pages on Facebook. Obviously, a lot of them are firearms and self-defense related, and I see a lot of information coming from folks, both so-called experts and people that quote the so-called experts that talk about the fundamentals of self-defense as being something where you have time to make good decisions, you have time to carefully size up your shots, and I've heard it all. I've heard it all from guys that are low-capacity carriers saying, hey, I make every shot count, to people that talk about they don't worry about over-penetration because they hit everything they aim at. Well, today I'm going to go to an extremely crowded place. It's the Mall of America in Minneapolis. And going to talk a little bit about different situations that we're going to see just walking through the mall and get an idea how you might react. But most importantly, I want to get across the point today just how little time we have to make decisions about defending ourselves should someone wish to do us harm. So let's get into it. We're going to walk into the Mall of America. It's a rainy Sunday afternoon in early November, which means a lot of people are going to be here. And you're going to get to see a lot of humanity. And like I said, we're going to talk about a couple different situations and hopefully open some eyes on what self-defense is really about, and more importantly, what you really need to train for. Let's check it out. At one time, the Mall of America was touted as the world's largest indoor shopping mall. I think that there's been several that have surpassed it since then. But it's big. It's very big. I think if you walk past every store, you're going to walk close to 4 miles. And I come here quite a bit just for the exercise. I'm not a runner, but I am a walker. So we're going to check this out today. And it's a big enough facility. It has its own police station or two, I believe, inside. We'll get an idea what this place looks like, and it's fairly representative of a lot of large public places in the U.S. One of the things you'll notice, it is posted that guns are banned in these premises. Now, it should be noted that while it says guns are banned in these premises, the bad guys aren't going to follow that. The other thing is, in terms of Minnesota state law, that does not mean that you're going to get arrested if you come in with a firearm. It means that they can ask you to leave, and that's basically their recourse. Which is why I have a Glock 19, my 4 o'clock waistband. Now, walking into this atrium here, it's a wide open space, and you don't see a lot of people just yet, but you get the feeling that, hey, you're very safe. You don't have anything to worry about. Everybody looks just like normal, quote-unquote, people going about their business. And, hey, what do you need a firearm for? Well, you don't need one. I've walked in here before without a firearm. But the point is in a place like this, there are tens of thousands of people, and you just don't know what anybody's got on their mind. This particular facility has been specifically named in terrorist threats. Al-Shabaab, I believe, was an organization that talked about blowing this place up and doing great harm here. So you can really convince yourself, if you're ultra worried, just not to go anywhere. But this is a place, like I said, it's a large indoor space. If you need to get some exercise in the wintertime, which is a long season here in Minnesota, this is a great place to come. But it's also a place where they've had, in the past, some issues with young kids coming from the inner city, riding the train down here, getting rowdy, things of that nature. There have been some stabbings. I think a shooting before. So it's always a good idea to have situational awareness when you're out in public at a place like this, and be ready for anything that could happen. So taking a stroll just down one of these aisles, the first real threat we see is this guy right here. Let's just say, for example, he did want to do you harm. Here's my first question to you. How much time would you have to respond? If your answer was no time at all, that would have been the correct response. One of the things all of us are going to do are make judgments, like about that couple or this couple walking towards us. Hey, they're not a threat. You've never heard about an old couple out for a walk assaulting anybody, so we'll put our mind at ease in that situation when we see an elderly couple walking or something like that. But sometimes if we see someone of a different skin color than us or a different ethnic persuasion, we might tend to think about things a little bit differently and be a little bit more on guard. We're conditioned that way. This guy right ahead of me is only about 3 seconds ahead of me walking, and if he decided to turn around and charge me, how much time would I have to respond? Would I be able to undraw my holster and carefully aim a shot at him without hitting somebody else? If your answer was no time to respond, he's probably going to flatten me. That'd also be the correct answer. If you look at any of these people that are walking past me or walking towards me over my shoulder, what you're going to quickly notice is how quickly they close on me. If somebody just wants to come up and do you harm, they're going to be able to do it fairly quickly. There's somebody walking towards me right now that as I start this conversation, they're 15 feet away. And right about now, you're seeing them passing me. Well, you're thinking, well, hey, it's just somebody with some little kids, and that's my point. They're not walking very fast. If somebody was walking with purpose or was in a hurry and was looking to do some harm, how much time do you have to react? Probably just about enough time to shove them off with one hand, maybe grab your firearm out of your holster and get a shot off. You certainly don't have time to make careful decisions. You certainly don't have time to aim and carefully place your shots, and the odds of you hitting somebody in the background are very, very high. Very high. Which brings up the next question. Do you understand the firearms laws in your state? Because the odds of hitting who you want to hit, not having any overpenetration, not missing, when you have, based on these prior examples I've given, 2-3 seconds to respond tops, the odds of you making a clean shoot are pretty low. So the odds are very good that you're going to be in court and you're going to be facing some kind of a wrongful death lawsuit, something of that nature. Now, if you never practice getting a weapon out of your holster and putting shots on target within 2 or 3 seconds, what makes you think you're going to be able to do it when you need to? I'll leave that with you for now. Another thing most of us have little experience or ability in is situational awareness. Let's take this guy, for example. Is he casing the joint out, getting ready to do something really bad, or is he simply just waiting for his wife to finish up shopping in LL Bean? Or how about this guy right here? Has he just had enough and needs to rest those tired dogs for a little bit? We also are quick to make determinations on folks based on what they look like, and that can obviously be dangerous. A family is a family is a family, right? Being Muslim doesn't mean you're going to do something bad. I think one of the biggest mistakes anybody can make is deciding they think they know what a would-be attacker looks like. I think between the stuff we've seen on TV, stereotyping that's done, as well as some predetermined notions we might have about folks of different races, the truth of the matter is we don't know who might want to hurt us. That's why it's very important to be able to react quickly with whoever might be looking to do us harm. And that's why training is what it's all about, guys. Training on holstering, training dry firing, training firing at the range, getting off quick, decisive shots. The most important thing we can do is avoid a situation at all costs, because as you can see from a lot of the footage I've taken here at the mall, it would just be too darn easy to hurt somebody that's not involved in a situation, i.e. shoot an innocent bystander, and that's the last thing we want to do. The other thing we're not here to do is stop armed robberies. Right now, if someone were to walk up in back of this couple and stick up the cashier and we took a shot at him, what happens when we miss? See that innocent guy standing back there on the other side of those barrels? He's dead. Or if you miss and hit that person that is working at the table in your far vision right there. The bottom line is we're not Cape Crusaders. We have not been deputized to foil crimes and stop would-be bandits from sticking up stores and things of that nature. Too many things can go wrong. So unless someone's actually blazing away with those firearms, if we think that we automatically have the right to start blazing away with ours because they're in the act of committing a crime, we might want to think again. It varies from state to state where you live, but you can count on a civil suit either way. And again, if you don't practice, if you're not proficient with quick draw and quick shot placement, you are going to hit those people that are standing in the way or around or near the would-be assailant. And all you've done is taken an innocent life when you probably didn't need to. Something to think about. I'm one that does not believe that you can prepare for everything. So you have to keep your eyes open and be in a situation where if something happens that you can help yourself with, that you know how to do it. Otherwise, you can never go out in public. You're always going to be afraid, and you're always going to have your head on a swivel and never enjoy anything in life. So as a concealed carrier, I make sure that I'm responsibly trained and I'm attentive. I can't tell you how surprised I am at the number of people who carry firearms and go to the range and practice shooting holes in paper that have absolutely no preparedness for a self-defense situation, whether it's in their house, which is the most legal way in most states, or out in public, which is the way that exposes you to the most liability if something goes wrong. I can't tell you how surprised I am to see how few people practice shooting one-handed, off-handed, how few people practice unholstering and doing double or triple taps with their firearm. I do it all the time, and I don't want to be that dweeb that tells everybody, hey, if you don't practice like me, you ain't doing it right. But I just have to pose this simple question to you. If you don't practice and prepare for quickly unholstering your firearm and getting shots on target quickly, what makes you think you're going to be able to do that when the chips are down? That's my question I pose to you. I'll leave you with that. This is Dr. Drake 63 thanking you for watching. And remember, guys, carry on and support the NRA. Here, for purposes of comparison, we're going to knock off 10 shots with the Glock 19. And as you can see, I can shoot that a lot quicker and could have shot 15 that way. Here doing the same thing, again, with the Model 60.